Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of October 2021, and we're producing our Tuesday morning gold and silver price update forecast and daily news. Well, on opening this morning, we've seen that gold, at least over the last 24 hours, and silver prices have risen slightly. However, it's the jobs reports beginning tomorrow which will have most impact, and especially the non-farm payrolls on Friday. That said, we have services PMIs to view today, and again these could have a slight effect. Now, equities broadly are under pressure, though the UK and Europe have opened on a positive footing, at least so far. Now, before we take a more detailed look, just a quick shout out to 3 videos we produced over the weekend. Our gold and silver weekly update for the weekend in the 1st of October. Gold and silver regains earlier losses, what about next week? And inflation, transitory or damaging to gold and silver prices. And we've placed links below. The inflation one's particularly important, especially as we'll discover in the news today that fuel prices are continuing to rise. And this will certainly prevent any reduction in the inflation rate, at least short term. So let's take that look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Monday, 5th of October 2021, 11:12 a.m. GMT +1. We're running late today as we're in the process of selling a property and have been on the phone to solicitors all morning. The weather, it's been rather down. A little cloudy, no real sun in sight, no real prospect of rain, just sort of down. No different to what's been happening with Facebook yesterday, and Instagram and WhatsApp, all owned by the same organization. In fact, their sites have been down too. Here's what Facebook says triggered the massive outage on its apps. Facebook Inc. blamed a global service outage that kept its social media apps offline for much of Monday on a problem with its network configuration, adding that it found no evidence that user data was compromised during the downtime. This disruption to network traffic had a cascading effect on the way our data centers communicate, bringing our services to a halt, the company's engineering team wrote in a blog post Monday night. The technical issue took Facebook's core social network, its photo app, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger services offline for hours, marking one of the longest and broadest failures in recent memory. What on earth will the world do if Facebook and co. collapses? However, talking of collapse, we're being threatened by France. Yes, the UK power supply is threatened over Brexit tensions. France's European Affairs Minister, Clément Beaune, said the European Union could look to leverage its electricity supply to the UK in an effort to force Boris Johnson's government to grant access to British fishing waters. Beaune said that the EU will take action in the next few days to increase the pressure on the UK, which is a net importer of power from France. Any interruption to those flows would threaten a British grid that is already under pressure. The Channel Islands, the UK, are dependent on us for their energy supply, Beaune said in an interview on Europal Radio, or Europe 1 Radio, I should say. They think they can live on their own and badmouth Europe as well, and because it doesn't work, they indulge in one-upmanship in an aggressive way. Wow. We always were at war with France, though we don't suspect there will be one this time. But talking of power supplies anyway, Europe's gas and power surge to records amid tightening supply. European natural gas and power prices soared to fresh records amid worsening fears over supply availability. Global shortages of gas and coal are pushing energy prices higher, disrupting markets from the UK to China as economies emerge from the pandemic. Surging costs are starting to weigh on industrial production, raising the risk of further volatility as businesses look to shutter output and consumers search for alternative fuels. And this is indeed quite disturbing, as you'll appreciate. We're talking about trying to curb inflation, as we produced in our video 2 days ago, and this will just add to the problem. BBC Business, only 127 fuel drivers apply for a UK visa, according to the Prime Minister. Greggs, which is the sandwich food shop, warns of staff shortages and rising costs. That's an interesting one. Insurers covering cost of therapy for lonely dogs. The less said about that, the better. 5 ways this Supreme Court could change America. How the justices rule on upcoming abortion, gun control and religion cases may transform US society. And one that we particularly like because we were a fan of his in our youth, Star Trek actor to be launched into space. Captain Kirk, Bezos' Blue Origin to send William Shatner into space. The actor who played Captain Kirk in the Star Trek series is set to embark on a real-life journey into space. The 12th of October, age 90, the actor will become the oldest person to have flown into space. What a great advertising promotion that is. The genuine, original Captain Kirk. Well, let's see what's happening to markets. Dollar up 0.15 at 93.92, skirting that 94 level. Energy prices up a little, $0.25, with WTI crude at 77.86, but Brent crude now moving firmly and holding into the $81 level at 81.64. Equity markets in the US yesterday took a further fall, down on average 1%, although the Nasdaq was down 2%, making the fall between 3.8 and 7.2% for the month. Asia Pacific down, Nikkei down 2, Topix down 1, but Hang Seng marginally up. UK and European markets higher this morning, ranging between 0.5% and 1%. Now, the economic data that came out yesterday was in fact marginally positive. Factory orders were up, higher than the previous month and higher than forecasts, coming in at 1.2%, which is good news. Core capital goods orders were also up 0.6 compared with 0.5. But today's figure is a little more important, arguably. You've got the trade deficit, of course, but we have the market services PMI and the ISM services index. And then, of course, as we've mentioned yesterday, employment data, Wednesday, Thursday, and the non-farm payrolls on Friday. So, what's happened to gold over the last 24 hours? Well, it is up $7.25, currently standing at $17.56. If we compare that to the opening, it's down 5 compared to Friday's close, it's down $5, as at that close at 17.61. Looking at silver, I'll refresh the page because when we produced these, it's about 10-15 minutes ago. We can see over the day silver is up 24 cents at 22.59. However, it is only up 4 cents on Friday's close, but still a positive result with 22.50 appearing to act as reasonable support. So there we have it. What's going to happen? It's all going to be data dependent. Of course, if Facebook continues to close down, well, their shares will be adversely affected. But the bottom line is we are holding our breath to see how these employment figures come out. If they're very high, then tapering is likely to occur sooner rather than later. And that will have or act as a headwind for gold and silver. Equally, if they're disappointing figures, then the opposite is likely to occur. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Until our next video. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners. Bye.